Can you imagine earning 20 or 25% of your money in 1 week? Imagine doing that. Well, you could even do it in 1 day. Stay with me, you'll learn how.
Welcome to today's video, everybody. Once again, we're here with Ted Thomas, the Tax Lien Certificate and Tax Deed Authority. And today, Ted's going to be shedding some light on two very important states. Now, what makes these states so important is they have high returns and fast redemption periods. Now, what states am I talking about? Ted, you already know this. Allow me. Texas and Georgia. So let's get into this, Ted. Before we drill down and learn about Texas and Georgia, can you first explain what is a redemption period? What does that mean in a tax delinquent auction setting?
Okay, well, this isn't complicated, but everybody gets it all mixed up when it comes to redemption of a deed, okay? So we're going to give you the right stuff right now. So the legislature of the state makes all the rules. All the rules are the same. All the legislatures have their own rules, and they have to be followed by the treasurer and the tax collector, all right? So the state has taken the county and divided it up into a lot of counties, all right? Now, each one of those counties has their own jurisdiction. What does that mean? They make their own rules. So the county government can seize the property if the people don't pay the tax. All right, so that's called a delinquent tax auction. All right, now, what are they going to do with that property? They're going to auction it off. All right, so the governing body said, sell it. You've got to sell it to collect the taxes. So what the county does is they have a public auction, and they start those auctions at 10, 20 cents on the dollar. Anybody can go to that auction. Now, certain states will have a redeemable deed. So what happens in that state is the state and that county are going to sell the property. And when they sell the property, you raised your hand, you bought it, you got a deed to the property, except on the deed, it has a little notice and it says, this is a redeemable deed. All right, that means that the property owner can come back and get their deed back. Oh my goodness, what does that mean? Well, this is a long process. What happened is, the notice went out to the people and said, look, you got to pay your tax. If they didn't pay it, they had a tax lien, then they levied on the property, now they're auctioning it off. You bought it by raising your hand at the auction, but it says redeemable deed. So what does that mean? Really simple. It means this. Anytime in the state of Georgia that client wants to come back, anytime from day one all the way to day 365, anytime they come in, they can say, I want to redeem my property. And what they have to do, if you bought it, they're going to have to give you back all your money, 100%, and they're going to have to give you a 20% return. That means if you raised your hand today and bought a property, you got a redeemable deed, they come in 10 days and they want their property back, you've got to give them their deed back and you're going to get all your money plus a 20% return. Is that a good deal? Wow, they do this regularly in Georgia, and we're going to talk about Texas too, so you get the idea.
Well, now that we have that covered, Ted, let's focus on Georgia. Can you give us a little more insights about how Georgia tax auctions work?
Okay, well, first of all, the county, they send out notices to people and say, we're going to take your property away from you. And this is a notice of default. The notice of default is followed by a levy. Once the levy takes place, they confiscate the property, then they put it on an auction list. Anybody can go and get an auction list. You can get it online, you can get it at the county. That property is going to be sold at a public auction, and the auction will start at the back taxes.
So instead of holding on to a tax lien certificate, you're really kind of holding on to a tax deed. So how long is that redemption period in Georgia?
In Georgia, in all 159 counties, it's a total of 1 year, okay? Now, could it extend into other years? Yes. But most people, if they're going to pay sometime during that 1 year period of time. That's a redeemable deed. That means anytime they come forward and say, I want to redeem my property, they have to pay you 100% plus a 20% return on your money.
Well, does Georgia ever conduct these auctions online, or are they all the auctions just in person?
Well, Georgia's unusual in the sense that they do all this in live auctions, although recently they did have a auction in Glenn County, and they had it online. But basically, Georgia has live auctions. They're on the courthouse steps. Now, Georgia has 159 counties, so there's a lot of auctions. They do the auction the first Tuesday of every month. So you can go there. Anybody can go to the live auction and go and watch it if you want, which I recommend. Watch the auction a few times. Okay, so let's switch gears a little bit and let's talk about redeemable deeds, and let's do this in Texas. Now, these are common questions that are asked all the time, all right? Now, Texas is a big state, got 254 counties in that state.
Well, how long is the redemption period in Texas?
Well, in Texas, it's fast. In other words, you go to the auction, you raise your hand like I'm doing now to buy at that auction, all right? You buy a redeemable deed at that auction. The owner has 180 days to come forward and pay you back all what you paid at that auction. And they got 180 days to do that. When they come forward, they have to give you back all the money that you invested at the auction, plus a 25% penalty. That process has been going on for 100 years. Agricultural property is a little bit different than regular property. I won't go through all that because I don't want to confuse you. Most people are trying to buy single-family homes, or they're trying to buy residential land. All right, those properties, when you raise your hand and you buy a redeemable deed, that redeemable deed has only 180 days, and the property owner must come forward, redeem their property, and when they do that, they have to pay you 100% return of your capital plus 25%.
Can you explain a little more about how exactly the Texas tax auctions work?
Okay, in Texas, they have counties, okay, and lots of them. And when they have the auction there, what they'll do is the constable or the sheriff will come to the front of the room. And when they have the auction, they'll have a long list where they're going to put up on a board. Sometimes they'll put up pictures, but they'll have a list. And you can get that list at the county records if you want, on the county website, or you can get it in the newspaper. They'll have a list of all the properties that they're going to auction. And they'll start at the top of the list with whatever number one is, and they'll work all the way to the end of that list. During the period they're having the auction, anybody in the room can bid. It's a public auction. It's going to start at very close to the back taxes, and the highest bidder will win the auction.
Hey, that sounds great, Ted. So 2 great states, Texas and Georgia, both of them have a great redemption period and high returns. When you look at both of the states, do you have a favorite one to work with?
Well, I like both of those states. Everybody does. I mean, redeemable state, if you can buy a property that's a redeemable deed, we talk about having a low-risk deal. I mean, you're either going to get a big return or you're going to get a great property. It's going to be one or the other. But I happen to say to people that Georgia's my favorite state. Now, why is it my favorite state? Well, I live in Florida, so it's right next door. So that's why it's a favorite. Obviously, if I lived in Louisiana or Oklahoma or New Mexico, I'd be going to Texas all the time. It's just so close that I just picked a close state. But they're both great for redeemable deeds. Redeemable means that that property owner is not going to get hurt. They can come in and redeem anytime within that limit. Imagine in 181 days you can own a property in Texas. That's about the fastest I've ever seen.
Well, Ted, this is great news, everybody. And listen, if there's a question you have for Ted that I haven't brought up, just leave it in the comment section below. He'll get to it, and you will get an answer. Give us a thumbs up on the video, and maybe even subscribe to Ted's channel. Hey, Ted, as always, it would be great to have a list of where these auctions are and when they're going to happen. How can you help us there?
Well, I can help you a lot of ways. Folks, first of all, we teach people how to do this. So if you're a viewer, you should understand that you can have a 6-figure income doing this business, but it's going to take some guidance. So this is like a one-person business that you can do from home, make yourself a 6-figure income doing just what we're talking about today. Now, if you want to learn about the United States as a whole and see how many tax-liened deeds there are, right below me, we have lists of auction properties that you can get. All right, so you can go below me, and what you'll see, it will tell you how many properties how many auctions are going to take place in that state in the next 60 days. Now, there's going to be well over 5,000 auctions this year. But you can find about the auction, and then you can get right into the county records and learn about each one of those auctions, how many properties they had for sale, and all the details of it. It's right below me. You can go there now.
It's a great tool. It's right in the description. Click on it. Get your free tool from Ted. And thanks for watching.
Folks, this is fast money. What do I mean by fast money? Today's episode, we answer the question, which state is the fastest on redemption? Remember, when they redeem, you get paid. They redeem their property, you get paid. Shortest redemption I know is in Texas. 181 days is the longest time they can wait. Any day they come in and pay. If they come in at the end of one day and want their property back, they have to give you all your money back and 25%. So redemption means that the property owner gets their property back, but you get paid. So that's a nice way to work. Now, Georgia, they have a whole year. Anytime during that year, they can come in and redeem. If they come in and redeem in 10 days, that means you're going to get your money back in 10 days, and you're going to get your profit. It was 20% penalty in the state of Georgia, and it was 365 days. In Texas, it's 180 days. At the end of 180 days, you're going to earn up to 25% because that's what the penalty is. I'm Ted Thomas. See you in the next video.